How's it going, guys? Anxious Cynic back again, and as always, thanks for all the submissions we got this compilation. It was really cool to see you guys come up with your own rigs and make things, and I understand that this was kind of a little bit more of an advanced one than what we've normally been doing, so we didn't get quite as many submissions, but hopefully you guys will work up to it, the ones that didn't submit or haven't tried it yet or whatever. But anyway, let's move on to one tip. I'm probably going to do a tip video. I just bumped my headphones. A tip video or a tutorial or something to cover this in more depth. I have mentioned it in a few of my other videos, but just to kind of go over it real quick with you guys is the issue of, it's got a few different names, but it's called Z-clipping, I think, and it's when your textures are fighting each other. I don't have a rig to show this off, but I'll try it with just a couple of blocks. So let's spawn a grass block in, and how about, let's see here. How about a crafting table or something? If we can find it real quick. Alright, so basically we have these two blocks, they're right on top of each other, and they're the exact same size, meaning they're overlapping each other exactly. And what you get, if you notice here when I move it, you see how the textures are fighting each other? This will actually show up in your animation, that flickering and whatnot. This can be especially bad for rigs, like if you were making, say, a crafting table rig and you want the corners to be flat instead of having two 3D parts that kind of leave that gap in the corners and the edges. You'll notice on those little edges there, it'll be flickering like this, and that's because of the quote-unquote Z-clipping. The textures essentially are in the same exact position as each other, and they're kind of fighting for that space. They're having a little battle, and they both want to occupy that space, and they don't know, the program doesn't know how to work that out. Now, to my knowledge, this is not like an issue with mine-imator. This is actually just an issue with 3D stuff in general. So like even if you were using Blender or Cinema 4D, I think this would still be a problem. So basically, you may notice when I rig things or when I show things, I usually offset the blocks by a little bit. And how much you have to offset them is also dependent upon how far the camera backs away, I believe. So let's give an example of this. Let's make our grass block a little bit smaller. Let's say we'll make it 0.999. So it's just slightly smaller. Just a little bit. You can see there that tiny edge there maybe, and it looks good now, right? See, no clipping or anything. But let's see what happens when we back away. We're so far away, it's kind of hard for you guys to see it, I'm sure. Let me make it just slightly bigger. All right, so it should be even closer now, and let's see if we can. There we go. So you notice here as I'm panning the camera around how it's still fighting. So that can happen, and you notice when I'm close here, it's not doing too bad. It actually looks perfectly fine, but when I back out from here, it's pretty much okay, but it's starting to fight a little bit, and then as I go further out, it really starts to fight. So depending on how far you want your camera away from things will determine how far in you need to scale these things. So if I bring it back down to 999, then you can see that I can go out a little bit further and it's fine. Still fine. I think it might be fighting just a tad there, and then now it's really fighting. So this is one of the things you actually may want to kind of animate the scaling. So like for instance, if I'm showing a close-up and I don't want there to be that edge, then I can bring up the scale slightly higher so it's barely noticeable that there's any difference. And then if I'm going to do a shot where it's way out, then I would take it and reduce the scale a bit because it's not as obvious that there's a difference, and then just keep doing that as I need to throughout the animation if I have this problem. Generally what I like to do is build rigs or whatever with the distance kind of set up so I don't have to worry about it. So just a little tip there. For you guys, if you want to build rigs and you're having that problem, I have another solution for how I deal with that. I actually use it in my 3D ores pack, so I may be covering that in a future tutorial of how to deal with this problem a little bit more easily and advanced. Like it's a little more work up front, but then you have less of this to deal with. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully that was helpful to you guys, and yeah, keep going making your cool rigs and stuff. So that's going to be it for this tip. I might include, I'm not going to say I guaranteed because I haven't done it yet. So check after this part. There may be a submission. We got it late for the fishing rod compilation, but I didn't realize I kind of screwed up on my own. So I didn't say it was accepted, but I acknowledged that I got it. And because I did that, and because, I don't want to mislead you guys, want to make you think something's accepted even if it's not, because it was a late submission for the fishing rod compilation. I'm going to include it at the end of this. Now, I don't want that to set a precedent, like if you submit late, it's always going to show up in the next compilation or whatever. It's just under certain circumstances, such as this week, where I acknowledged that I got it, but I didn't realize at the time that it was a late submission for an older compilation. Anywho, I'm going to include it, hopefully, probably after this one. If it's not, then I sound dumb. But yeah, so stick around if you want to see that. And otherwise, I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with for the next compilation, which at this time is the glow effect. And yeah, happy animating, guys. Thanks again for all the great submissions. I hope you're enjoying the compilations and making your submissions and whatnot. And that's it. So thanks for joining me, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to hit that like button, subscribe and comment and all those great things. Share the videos and whatnot. Support the channel. And I will see you next week.